Hi friends, now let's see in detail how these are different from one another. So let's begin to compare between list and tuple. So we have defined a list called my list containing elements 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 2, and we have defined a tuple, my tuple having same elements 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 2. Yeah, as mentioned, yes, it is ordered. Then it's indexed. Duplicates are allowed. So 2 is repeated. Yes, in both the cases it is allowed. So what is different? It says this list is changeable but not tuple. So what do you mean by that? So we can say my list. So this is in Python, if you say the index starts from 0, 0, 1, 2, 3. So if you say my list 3, that means you are talking about this fourth element. And if I say my list 3 is assigned with say some 44, then now onwards this value will be replaced by 44. So that is possible. So we can change any element, and even we can change the size of the list. Like you can append my list dot append what you want to append, say 55. So when you append 55, then the result will change to a new value gets added here, 55. So size is changeable, any particular element value is changeable, and that is possible in list. Coming to the tuple, so we cannot say my tuple with a 4 and try to assign some value like 55, then an error is raised and say that it is not possible to index it. So we can't go through. So it says that does not support assignment. The error is it does not support any assignment. Same way, if you try to modify the size by saying append like 55, again error is raised and say that append is not supported in tuples. So tuples don't support append, tuples don't support assignment. That's what the errors raised when we are working with tuple. So that's what we were trying to say, that they are not changeable. Either a value cannot change of any element or size of it cannot change. So the effect of this is, because this size is changeable, therefore the extra memory is allocated while defining the list. Therefore this takes more space, whereas tuple needs less space. On the other side, when you are working with on the time domain, then list Accessing a list will be a very costly affair, so takes more time to access, and this one takes very less time to access. So the examples could be in terms of if you talk about space, so it may require 112 bytes for some 5 elements, whereas this requires only 96 bytes. Compared to this, when you talk about time, this may take 0.1 second to retrieve, and this would take 0.01 time to retrieve. So almost 10 times more time is required for retrieval. It requires 10 times less time for retrieval. So when we are working with big data, definitely it would be beneficial if you work with tuples. But yes, of course, make sure that the size and values are not changeable. So whenever you are working with a situation where the size of the data is very large, and you also sure that you are not going to modify the data once created, and you are also sure that the size of the data is not going to vary, then of course this tuple will be the best choice. But if you are not sure that the values are not going to remain same all the time, you need to change the values from time to time, or if you are not sure that the size of the data is going to remain same all the time, it may change, then better prefer the list. So these are the two extremes we talk about. So the other way of talking is coming to the security point of view. If you go for tuple version, then there is definitely no chance of modifying the data by mistake. So definitely the data once entered is going to remain stable and won't be changed accidentally, and hence in such cases we would prefer to go for tuple. Large data, no modifications expected, then prefer tuple because it's going to occupy minimum space. It's going to use very less time for retrieving the data compared to the list. But if you are not sure about variability of it, then better tolerate the extra space taken by the list and tolerate these delays in retrieving the data from the list, because the tuples don't allow modifications. So that's the two ends. So depending on the situation, we have to decide which one is more beneficial, list or tuple. So overall, list, the elements can be modified, size can be modified. Tuple, neither element can be modified nor the size can be modified. Therefore, it remains stable, fixed once created. List can be modified. So depending on situation, we need to decide whether we should go for list or a tuple. So other issues in the coming sessions. So take care. See you. Bye.